Namaste and welcome back to the second edition of Baatcheat.
Great to be back.
Baatcheat, that's Hindi for conversations, and that's what we're doing here. A weekly cheat sheet, really, digging into the buzz around electric vehicles and batteries.
Focusing specifically on those two Asian giants, right? China and India.
Exactly. China, well, it's the powerhouse, the undisputed leader right now in EVs and batteries, no question.
Dominating production, innovation, everything, really.
But India, keep your eyes peeled there. It's just getting started with the potential. Massive demand, growing economy. It's, well, electrifying.
You could say that. The scale could be immense.
So this week, we've dug through the latest news. We'll present it more like a story, make it easier to digest. You ready to unpack this?
Let's dive in. What's fascinating, even just looking at 1 month, is how dynamic these markets are.
Yeah.
Sales figures shift. Companies make strategic moves.
Yeah.
It's constant motion. You really get a sense of the industry's pulse.
Absolutely. Okay, let's plug into China first. Auto Shanghai just wrapped up. And interestingly, a few familiar names were missing this year. Chevrolet, Subaru, Jetta, and Venucia. That's the Dongfeng Nissan brand.
Notable absences. What do you make of that?
Well, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? Could it signal, maybe, a shift? Are they rethinking things in a market just swamped by local EV players?
That's a sharp observation. Auto shows are usually, prime real estate for showing off.
For sure.
So for these brands, especially those with deep roots in combustion engines, to sit it out, it could mean they're struggling to keep pace with China's electric speed.
Or maybe focusing resources elsewhere.
Possibly. Or maybe both.
Yeah.
It's a tough market to crack right now if you're not fully committed to electrification there.
Speaking of dominance, BYD, their April sales figures dropped.
Let me guess. Big numbers.
Big is an understatement. Staggering, maybe. 380,089 NEVs sold in total.
Wow. NEVs, so that's pure electrics and plug-in hybrids combined.
Correct. And within that, their main BYD passenger brand, think Dynasty and Ocean Series, sold 344,353 units.
That's a healthy jump year on year.
Yep, 15.66%. The Song family under Dynasty moved almost 84,100 units. Chin family was strong, too.
The Dynasty series just keeps performing. Shows they've got models that appeal across the board.
But look at the Ocean Series, even faster growth there.
Right.
Sales shot up over 30% year on year, 180,799 vehicles, and the Little Seagull.
The compact one. How did that do?
Flew off the lots. 55,028 units sold. Seems like affordable EVs are really hitting a sweet spot.
That success of the Seagull, it really highlights a key point, doesn't it? Affordability drives mass adoption. A good, cheap EV changes the game.
And BYD isn't just playing the volume game. Their premium brand, Denza,
How are they faring?
sold a decent 15,388 units in April. The D9 MPV, their minivan, was a big part of that.
Right, the MPV segment is surprisingly hot in China.
Even their niche sub-brands, Feng Chengbao and the ultra-luxury Yangwang, are starting to register. Small numbers for Yangwang, but Feng Chengbao sold over 10,000.
What strikes me is the consistency across their entire range. Entry-level, premium, ultra-luxury.
Yeah.
They're hitting all segments.
It's a very deliberate strategy, it seems.
Absolutely. And Feng Chengbao's numbers suggest they're successfully carving out space in those specialized categories, too.
And they're looking outwards. Their own car carrier, the BYD Shenzhen,
Yes, the ship.
just set sail for Brazil its first trip, carrying over 7,000 BYD NEVs.
And it's not just any ship.
No. World's largest car carrier, apparently. Capacity for 9,200 cars. What does owning their own fleet like this signal?
Well, think about their 2025 targets. They want to sell 5.5 million cars, right?
Yeah, with over 800,000 planned for export.
So having your own ships, it gives you control over logistics. You're not reliant on third-party shippers, costs, schedules.
Makes sense. Less vulnerability.
Exactly. It screams long-term commitment to global expansion. And they have several ships now. Explorer number 1, Hefei, Changzhou. This isn't a whim.
Okay, let's pivot slightly. Competitors. Deutsche Bank put out an April sales preview.
Always interesting to see the forecasts. What do they say about NIO?
Expected retail sales around 25,000 units. A big jump year on year and for March.
Okay, positive momentum.
And new order flow looks strong, too, maybe up 80% sequentially across Neo, Envo, and Firefly.
That order flow is key. Suggests there are newer models or maybe marketing efforts are landing well. And Firefly starting deliveries adds another dimension.
The forecast for Tesla in China, though, a bit different.
Oh, downwards.
Yeah, expected retail around 30,000. That'd be a decline year-on-year and month-on-month. New orders also expected lower.
What could be behind that dip for Tesla there?
Competition, price wars, model fatigue.
All plausible. The local competition, like BYD, is incredibly fierce. Maybe people are waiting for newer Tesla models too.
Could be. The price cuts across the market must be playing a role too.
Definitely. It's a tough environment. What about the others in the preview? XPeng, Li Auto.
Deutsche Bank saw XPeng's orders lining up with deliveries around 31,000. Li Auto projected about 34,500 deliveries up year-on-year, but maybe a slight dip from March.
Still strong numbers for both.
And Xiaomi, the newcomer. Expected deliveries around 28,500, but maybe some order slowdown? Potentially linked to that highway accident story and maybe long wait times.
Right. Managing that initial hype and scaling production smoothly, plus handling any negative PR, it's a huge challenge, even for a brand like Xiaomi.
These forecasts really show the mix, don't they? Some steady growth, some navigating choppy waters.
It's definitely not a monolithic market. Each player faces unique challenges.
And the actual April numbers started rolling in, pretty much backing up those previews. NIO
How did they actually do?
delivered 23,900 vehicles, their second highest month ever.
Wow, a strong rebound then.
Yeah, the main NIO brand did great. Onmo dipped slightly, but Firefly, the new
It's
sub-brand,
a mass market one.
started deliveries, 231 units out the door, and NIO's aiming to double deliveries in 2025 versus 2024. That's ambitious.
Doubling is a massive target, but that rebound, especially for the core Neo brand, is a very positive sign. Firefly starting is symbolically important too, opening up a wider market.
Leapmotor also had a fantastic April. 41,039 vehicles delivered.
Another big number, also their second best month.
Yep. Huge growth year-on-year and month-on-month. Their new B10 compact SUV seems to be a winner.
The B10. Right. How are the orders?
Over 10,000 firm orders pretty quickly after launch. They started deliveries in April.
That's a strong start.
And get this, the founder upped his stake in the company. A sign of confidence, surely.
Definitely. Putting more skin in the game speaks volumes.
Plus, Leapmotor and Stellantis, they're planning production in Malaysia by late 2025.
Another Chinese player going international. It's a clear trend. Leapmotor's delivery strength and the B10's reception show their strategy is working. The Stellantis link adds global muscle.
XPeng kept up its momentum too. 35,045 vehicles in April.
Also their second highest. Seems to be a theme.
It is. And they're 6 months straight above 30,000 units. Solid year-on-year growth.
Consistency is impressive.
They rolled out the 2025 X9 MPV, planning a European launch later this year, and apparently a new electric sedan is coming soon.
XPeng seems very focused. Consistent deliveries, updating models like the X9, expanding to Europe, new sedan coming. They're building a strong global profile.
One more from China, Zeekr Group. That includes Zeekr and Lynk & Co. under Geely.
Right. How do they do combined?
Total of 41,316 vehicles in April, slightly up from March.
And the breakdown.
Zeekr brand itself was actually down a bit from March. But Lynk & Co., strong growth, up 47% year-on-year.
Interesting. So Lynk & Co. is really pulling its weight within the group.
Seems like it. Suggests maybe a successful strategy of targeting different segments with those two brands. Lynk & Co. is clearly finding its audience.
That differentiation can be very effective. It shows the Geely ecosystem is working in diverse ways.
All right, let's switch gears. Let's head to India. The EV scene there is also really buzzing.
Definitely gaining momentum. What's the latest?
Well, in Delhi, they just flagged off 400 new electric buses, part of their DVI scheme, Delhi Electric Vehicle Interconnector.
400 is a significant number.
It is. 120 of them are from JBM Group. They'll run it out of the Gazipur depot, and they've got these intelligent transport management systems for better last-mile connectivity.
Smart buses. It's a big step for Delhi's public transport electrification. They already had quite a few, didn't they?
Yeah, over 2,000 already. This just adds to it. JBM's aiming for big numbers, billions of passenger trips, billions of electric kilometers over the next few years.
Those targets show the scale they're aiming for. And JBM has a big order book, right?
Over 10,000 electric buses. Their Eco-Life bus is zero emission, obviously. Supposed to save huge amounts of CO2 and diesel over its life.
The environmental benefits are a major driver, especially in cities like Delhi.
And JBM has built this massive dedicated e-bus factory near Delhi. 20,000 bus capacity per year. Biggest outside China, they say.
That kind of local manufacturing capacity is crucial for India's goals.
Okay, staying with policy and scale. Maharashtra state.
Ah, a leader in EV adoption in India.
For sure. They just approved their electric vehicle policy 2025. It's running until 2030. Big financial backing, nearly 2,000 crore.
What are the main goals?
Push EV manufacturing and adoption, cut pollution, make Maharashtra an EV hub.
Ambitious. What kind of incentives are we talking?
Pretty generous. Purchase discounts 10% for two-wheelers, three-wheelers, private cars, buses, even 15% for some categories like agricultural vehicles.
That's quite broad.
Plus, zero motor vehicle tax and registration fees for all EVs until 2030.
That removes a significant cost barrier.
And toll waivers. Complete waivers on the Mumbai-Pune expressway for electric cars and buses. 50% off on other state and national highways.
Wow, those operational savings add up. They're really trying to make the total cost of ownership attractive.
They are, and they're mandating charging infrastructure in new housing, encouraging it elsewhere, working with oil companies, setting up charging at bus depots, subsidies for public chargers too.
It sounds like a very comprehensive, well-thought-out policy, addressing purchase cost, running costs, and charging anxiety.
And they've even included battery recycling domains in the plan.
That's forward-thinking. Dealing with end-of-life batteries is critical for sustainability. Maharashtra seems serious about building a complete EV ecosystem.
And the sales numbers show they're already a major player. India overall had its best April ever for EV sales.
Really? How good?
167,629 units total, up 45% year-on-year across all segments.
That's strong growth. Shows the momentum is real.
Two-wheelers led in volume, but three-wheelers, passenger vehicles, commercial vehicles all saw big year-on-year jumps.
And Maharashtra's role in this?
They led sales in FY 2025 for electric two-wheelers, cars, SUVs, and commercial vehicles. They hold big shares across the board.
So that new policy is building on an already strong foundation. It could really accelerate things further. The growth across all segments is encouraging. It's not just one niche taking off.
Interesting dynamic in the electric two-wheeler space, specifically in April.
Oh, shake-up.
Bit of one. TVS Motors actually hit the top spot for the first time, just ahead of Ola Electric and Bajaj Auto. Ather was fourth.
TVS taking the lead.
Yeah.
That's significant. Shows the established players are really fighting back against the newer EV-only brands.
Yeah, the top three were incredibly close, under 100 units between first and second.
Intense competition.
And while most top players saw sales dip a bit from March, which was a record month, the overall segment still grew 40% year-on-year.
So month-to-month fluctuations, but the yearly trend is strongly upwards. And that tight race at the top suggests a maturing competitive market. The top four control a huge chunk, over 78%.
JSW MG Motor India also put up solid numbers in April.
MG, right. How did they do?
Sales up 23% year-on-year, largely thanks to the Windsor EV.
Ah, the Windsor. Still selling well.
India's best-selling electric car for the 7th month running. EVs are a big part of MG's sales mix there.
Consistent performance? Are they planning updates?
Yeah, a long-range Windsor is apparently coming soon. Bigger battery, more features.
Makes sense. Range anxiety is still a factor. MG seems to have found a successful formula in India, focusing strongly on their EV offerings.
Finally, let's talk about manufacturing hubs. Pune.
Right, near Mumbai.
Its industrial belt is really becoming a hotspot for India's EV and battery ecosystem.
Seeing a lot of investment there.
Significant investment. Battery cells, packs, energy storage. Companies like Tata, Autocomp Goshen, Octillion, 4C Power.
So a mix of joint ventures and international players.
Exactly. Plus local players like Replus, Electra EV, even JSW Energy and Mahindra are setting up big battery and EV plants there.
Mahindra's investing heavily in EVs out of Pune, aren't they?
They are. Dedicated EV manufacturing, battery assembly. It really feels like Pune is becoming central to India's Make in India push for green transport.
That concentration of activity is vital for building a robust domestic supply chain, from cells to full vehicles.
And interestingly, Mahindra is sourcing LFP blade cells from BYD for their batteries assembled in Pune.
That's fascinating. An Indian giant using cells from a Chinese giant, but assembling locally. Shows the global interconnectivity, but also the push for local value addition. Pune is definitely a region to watch.
Well, that pretty much wraps up our tour for this week's deep dive. China and India's EV and battery worlds. Certainly never dull.
Absolutely not. Impressive sales, big global moves, major policy shifts.
Yeah.
It's all happening at once.
We've covered a lot. Hopefully these stories, these snippets, have given you some valuable insights into this incredibly dynamic sector.
It's moving so fast, trying to keep up is half the challenge.
It really is. We genuinely love to hear your thoughts. Any feedback you have on this deep dive, please feel free to share them.
Your perspectives are always welcome.
And definitely tune in next week. We'll be back with another edition of Baatcheat, continuing to unpack the latest conversations from the EV front lines.
Who knows what headlines the next week will bring?
Exactly. One thing's certain, the journey towards electric mobility in China and India is full throttle. Dhanyawad for listening.